Nicholas Rossi update! And this is everything you need to know about the crime he's on trial for. Now that the jury has been seated and given instructions not to watch the news, you and I can get into all the details. Rossi is accused of first-degree rape of a woman in Salt Lake County in late 2008. We only know the victim by the initials MS. She was 26 years old at the time and Rossi's girlfriend, but that doesn't mean a whole lot. You see, Rossi's MO was to meet women online, get into whirlwind romances with them, and then start bleeding them for money and abusing them. And that's what happened here. They'd only been dating less than a month and were already engaged and shopping for wedding rings. Also, Rossi was unemployed and borrowing money from her he had no intention of paying back. And already, the emotional and verbal abuse was starting to seep in. That all culminated in a violent argument at a Utah shopping mall when they were picking up their engagement rings. MS pretty much called off the engagement then and there and drove Rossi back to his apartment. But he wouldn't get out of the car and threatened to call the cops on her, saying that she had hit him unless she came inside. She relented, and once inside his apartment, Rossi locked the doors on her, and that's when the assault happened, according to the charging documents. Now, MS did not go to the police at the time, so no rape kit was done, and she didn't come forward until 2022, after Rossi did that crazy interview on Dateline and became an international news story. Now, fortunately for MS, this isn't a case of he said, she said, as there are other corroborating accounts. Rossi was convicted of sexual assault in Ohio in 2008, so he's known to the court as a registered sex offender. He's also been indicted in Utah County for another count of rape against another woman, and he will be facing trial over that in September. And in that Utah County case, the woman did go to the police immediately after the assault happened, and a rape kit was performed, so there is DNA evidence tying Rossi to the crime. Prosecutors plan on calling both of these women to testify in both cases, so hopefully that will establish a pattern of behavior to the jury. Rossi has further been accused of assault by many other women across 4 US states and even in the UK. But as he hasn't been formally charged with a crime in any of those instances, it's uncertain if any of that will be admissible as evidence, or what other things Rossi has done that the jury might be informed of, like faking his own death, fleeing the country, the whole Arthur Knight facade, and a lot of other things. But we should be finding out about all of that on the first day of trial. Trial is going to last 5 days in front of Judge Lawrence, and even though Rossi has a couple $100,000 in stolen money squirreled away somewhere, he's going to be represented by a public defender paid for by the state of Utah. If Rossi is convicted, he's looking at a minimum of 5 years and a maximum of life in prison. But because he's already spent 3 years in jail awaiting trial, that would count as time served for some of it. The jury will have 8 people on it. Apparently Utah only does 12 jurors in capital murder cases, but they do need to be unanimous to convict. But even if Rossi does walk on these charges, it's not over for him, not by a long shot, because he's still facing a rape trial in Utah County in September, and the evidence there is a lot stronger. But his trial in Salt Lake County kicks off on Monday, and I will be bringing you daily news updates as they happen, and of course, I will be wearing my old-timey newsman hat for that. Stay tuned.